Thank you for finally joining me, Miss Richards.
Miss Howler, nice to see you too.
I think you know why we're here. Again, I've gotten reports from Mr. Teeves that you've been disrupting class. Please, Miss Richards, enlighten me as to why you're acting out, especially right now. I know we've had our problems in the classroom, but an outburst in the middle of online learning? I know these are unprecedented times and everyone is stressed, especially Mr. Teeves, who has a lot on his plate right now. So why this? Why now? What's going on? Talk to me, Ashanti, because I would hate to get your parents involved again, and the consequences may be far more severe than last time.
No, ma'am, I'm not stressed. It's just that, well, last summer I was doing some reading and learning more about pre civil rights and all that stuff, right? So I was listening to Mr. Teves giving his lesson, and he was just talking a little crazy? So sometimes I'll unmute my mic and try to correct him.
Miss Richards, you do know it is his job to teach the class.
It's also his job to tell the truth, to tell what really happened. All that mess African Americans had to go through, and the textbook just waters it down. It doesn't even make sense for me to sit there and let him get away with misinforming me and my classmates. They need to know the truth, how it really was, and why we are the way we are today.
I understand your frustration, but
And
you
why
need
is
to.
some old racist white? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Miss Richards, I ask that you refrain from using such harsh terms. Mr. Teeves is not a racist. He's teaching the curriculum through the textbook just like your other teachers. All his information is based on fact.
But what I'm saying is it's wrong. Obviously, he wouldn't care whether the information he's spreading is accurate or not. It doesn't affect him regardless because y'all still pay him for his mediocre work. If Mr. Tees would give us a real history lesson for once, maybe I wouldn't put my 2 cents in.
I'm sorry, Miss Richards, but what do you want Mr. Teeves or myself to do about your
I
issue?
just told y'all what to do. Tell the truth.
I mean, it would be quite impossible to cover all that happens in history in just 1 year. Plus, Mr. Teeves is only teaching from the state curriculum for the ELCT.
Come on, Dr. Howler. Woman to woman. Sister to sister, if you will. It's gotta be something you can do.
Miss Richards,
I'm sorry, but it's no possible way you heard what I just said and you're still not on my side.
this is not a your side, my side situation. I'm the principal of this school, and it is my job to make sure we are able to keep and maintain a stable learning system dealing with the switch to virtual classes. You, by interrupting class with your snarky remarks, are therefore disrupting the learning space.
Okay, I see you, girl.
I beg your pardon?
My bad. I thought I was on mute.
Ms. Richards, are you looking to get suspended today?
No, ma'am.
Then I
But I'm
suggest
not
you.
gonna sit back and let this man, the state curriculum, and all the other people who could care less about what's right or wrong corrupt my fellow classmates with that mess written in the textbooks. The black population makes up less than 20% of this school, and it's not fair we don't get the same opportunities as the white folk to learn about our history. We've sat in history for the past 4 years talking about George Washington this, Queen Elizabeth that. But how come all we get is the bare minimum slavery and civil rights every single year? I know I'm not alone. The rest of the Black Student Union feels the same way. Even during Black History Month, the books don't go past Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King.
For the last time, we do not make the textbooks that are distributed to the students. You have no reason to be disrespecting not only Mr. Teeves and me, but your classmates as
If
well.
you want to talk about disrespect, we can talk about it. Let's talk about the disrespect our ancestors got for 400 plus years. Let's talk about the disrespect my fellow African American peers get every day when we walk into this school building or when we log into class. You know about it. You've gotten complaints about it.
Ms. Richards,
No, Dr. Howler. When I walk into the building, it's an automatic target on my back. Teachers overlook me and my opinions, and we both know I'm loud enough to hear. The kids here bullied my best friend for her locks ever since we came to this school. Oh, and I've done the research. The Black Student Union is the least funded club in the school. Why does chess club get more money than us?
Miss Richards, I understand your frustration, but where is this leading us?
Where isn't it leading us? I'm giving you first-hand examples of the disrespect we face, and you just sitting there with that with that look on your face.
I suggest you choose your next words very carefully. I'll ask you once again, where is this conversation taking us?
The point here, Principal Howler, is we're tired of being disrespected. And the literal bare minimum you can do is enforce some more accurate textbooks.
Milton and Milton Publishing produces and supplies every single textbook for our county.
And what's that supposed to mean?
There is nothing you can do about...
Sue.
Excuse me?
I could sue the textbook company.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
This conversation is ridiculous. I'm suing that outdated company, and I'm gonna make a change.
Drop this preposterous idea immediately, and I'll let you off with a week detention,
Or what?
I'll have to cut funding from your club.
You would rather defund the BSU than help the Black students. Really? All right, Miss Girl. Granny.
Hey, my grandbaby. Uh-oh, I know that look. What happened?
Granny, I think I'm too ahead of myself. I haven't been able to log into class for a week, and it don't look like Howler is letting up.
Oh, now cut that nonsense. I know my Ashanti, and one thing about her is she always pulls through. Baby, you're doing the right thing. I know firsthand how them folks try to silence a young, passionate Black woman.
But Granny, I ain't never been to court before. What do I say? What do I do?
You know exactly what to say, baby. You my smartest grandchild, you know. Don't start getting in your own head. You know I'm always watching over you, and I'll come out my grave about you. But I'm gonna need you to remember, this ain't no street argument now. Keep applying pressure, but keep it respectful.
I know.
And I mean it too. You can't be talking all crazy like that. If you feel the urge to say something, just close your eyes and breathe. Acting a fool out there just gonna get you messed up.
I don't get why, though. Okay, I talk a little different, but facts are facts regardless.
I know that, sweetie. But those big white men in those suits ain't gonna listen to you if you talking like you fresh out the streets. Just keep it classy. You know we taught you how to walk in both worlds.
Yeah, but why can't I just walk in my own? So what, I use slang or whatever? I know what I'm talking about.
That's just life, baby. Aw, pick your head up. I know you've got this. I'm proud of you for taking a stand. A lot of people don't have the courage to do what you're doing. No matter what, you're always a winner to me.
Thanks. I really needed that.
All right now, baby. I love you.
I love you too. Bye.
Alright, I've just reviewed our notes from the other day. And I ran into a slight problem. The problem really comes down to the simple fact that you can't prove the textbooks are inaccurate.
I don't understand. I mean, come on. It's literally all written down in the books.
It's not as easy as that. Our only reference to go off of are the textbooks, since we have nobody alive to give us an accurate account of what actually happened during the times found to be so misleading.
Well, people recorded stuff, right? So there's got to be something that somebody wrote down that'll give us the truth.
Yes, a truth, but a biased one. We live in a writing-based society, Miss Richards. The perspectives of, say for example, ancient African civilizations were recorded via text. They were mainly told through oral storytelling.
Wait, so we don't have anything from back then?
We have some things, but unfortunately for us, a lot of the stories told about those people were written by European colonizers.
Ugh.
I know this can get frustrating, but I need you to remain calm, Miss Richards. The court wants something concrete, but due to the particulars of this specific case, we don't have that. Anyhow, I will attempt to find some suitable evidence before our next meeting. Obviously, we have the textbook we can use, but we need something more. Suppose we could use some of the work from Frederick Douglass, but that will only cover the 1800s.
Wait!
Hmm?
What if we used, what's it called? You know, like, when people get up on the podium and say stuff about a case, it's,
Witness testimony?
Yeah, that.
And who do you propose we have as a witness? Do you know any professors of African American history or...
Ghosts.
Come again?
Ghosts. I talk with my grandma, like, every day. There's gotta be a way for us to contact people that were actually alive during those times, right?
Miss Richards, you are aware that ghost summonings are primarily used for recreational purposes, correct?
Yeah, sure, but, like, why couldn't we use them for this?
The court typically uses ghosts in a case of a homicide, but perhaps they can make an exception. Only problem is that it's not my area of expertise, so I don't know if that will...
So nothing. You want to win? This is our best option.
I suppose I can make a request for original summoning at this event.
Period.
I will send out a request later today. If you don't have any more concerns, then I'll speak with you at our next meeting.
Wait.
Yes?
I do have one thing. Like, what's your deal? Are you good?
Am I good?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I mean, it's like, you just don't look real lawyery, you know? You could have at least did your hair.
Excuse me?
No offense or nothing. I'm just checking. You look a little aggy. You think the ghosts are too much or something? Because we might be...
I can assure you that everything is perfectly fine in my personal life, Miss Richards. And even if it wasn't, that's none of your business.
I said it was just a question.
Let's try to keep this relationship strictly professional, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Our first day in court will be in 1 week, and I actually have to go prepare for tomorrow's meeting with the defendant's lawyer. Good day, Miss Richards.
Late again, Melanie?
Janet Wachowski, why are you wearing a mask in your own house?
Foolish question, milady. Obviously, because it matches my tie.
Why are you so you?
Well now, there's no need for rudeness. I have good news regarding our upcoming battle.
Our upcoming case.
Your motion to use ghosts as witnesses has gone through. Very underhanded, if I do say so myself.
Listen, Alex, I'm just trying to make this kid happy. If you have anything...
No, not at all. I hope to win this game fair and square. And, as such, I have forwarded you a PDF scan of the rules regarding court proceedings involving ghosts, officially printed in Georgia, via 1984.
1984. Jeez, this thing is ancient.
But alas, it's all we have. You were the one who suggested this rather unorthodox procedure, and so I guess you'll have to bear the consequences.
It's all part of the job, Wachowski.
Judging by that hair and polyester pantsuit, a job you surely needed.
There's something seriously wrong with you.
I know. Good day, milady.
Stop calling me that. Just do your job, Mel. Just do your job.
Court is now in session. Honorable Judge Hargreaves presiding. I am also acting as our virtual bailiff today, so let's get started. You may be seated. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will truly listen to this case and render a true verdict and a fair sentence as to this defendant?
I do.
Now please turn off your cameras and mute your microphones for the remainder of this proceeding. Today's case is Ashanti Richards versus Milton & Milton Publishing Company. Prosecution, are you ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defendants?
Yes, Your Honor. I am prepared for any and all obstacles the prosecution may bring up.
Every time with this kid. Prosecutor Fisher, you have the floor. Now, I assume you have read the required literature regarding ghost summonings, correct?
Yes, Your Honor. Before my witness is called, I would like Miss Ashanti Richards to please read page 203, section 3 of Milton & Milton's The World History Textbook, Texas edition, published 2015.
Before European contact with the African continent, the people of Africa were primarily tribal-based with a traditional economy. Many of them believed in animistic and pagan religions, and typically lived in tiny communities of small mud huts.
And I don't even need to tell you what mess that is.
Objection. Inappropriate language.
Sustained. Prosecutor Fisher, if you would continue.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, despite my client's inappropriate behavior, she does have a valid argument. I call to the stand Mansa Musa, born circa 1280, deceased 1337, the third king of the ancient Mali Empire.
Hello, everybody.
Whoa, guys got some cash.
Objection. Relevance.
Actually, Mr. Wachowski, that is relevant to the case, but I will let Judge Hargreaves talk.
First, Mansa Musa, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
On my father's grave and his father before his.
Oddly specific. Please continue.
Mansa Musa, would you say that section accurately described your people?
No, lowly peasant, that is not accurate. Calling it accurate is like saying an elephant can't cross a desert. Sorry, rich people jokes.
Please continue.
The kingdom of Mali was far superior to whatever the colonizers were doing in Europe at the time.
Objection. Opinion.
Please explain your reasoning, Mansa Musa.
Explain myself? Please, I think these layers of gold speak for themselves. I could easily buy all of you.
That's right. He's recorded as the richest man in the world, and he lived in the Mecca. Isn't that a holy place for the Islamic religion?
Indeed it is. I am a Muslim, and proud of it.
So that means that the section about Africans mostly worshipping pagan and the spiritual religions is false, correct?
Indeed, the African continent is extremely diverse religion-wise. I should know. I've been all over it.
Objection. Technically, Mansa Musa only crossed the northernmost part of the continent.
It was a hyperbole! You walking, talking twig of a man!
Objection, Your Honor. He hurt my feelings.
Sustained. Please refrain from hurting the defendant's feelings.
I swear. The audacity.
Boy, who you telling?
Let's try and stay on topic. Finally, the textbook mentioned your people, the Mali, mostly lived in huts. Is that true?
Absolutely not. My people were the richest in the world. We could afford to build more than just a couple of, what do you call them? Hyuks?
Huts.
Yes, that. My apologies. I'm not familiar with speaking poor.
Anyhow, I feel now would be a good point to bring up your kingdom's vibrant center of trade. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Timbuktu? Best place on earth. Oh, I could tell you so many stories. People from all over the world came to visit our luxurious city. It's my proudest baby.
Objection! Referring to massive cities of trade as babies is an inaccuracy.
Now is not the time, Mr. Vetrovsky. Please, Mansa Musa, continue.
So, in conclusion, would you say that everything in that section of the textbook is an inaccuracy?
Yes, and I'll put money on it. And trust me, I have a lot of it.
Thank you. No further questions.
Now then, Mr. Vetrovsky, your statement.
Why, thank you. Mr. Musa.
Mansa Musa, it's my kingly title.
Fantastic. Mr. Musa. I assume you wouldn't be familiar with the wording of the textbook. Before European contact with the African continent, the people of Africa were primarily tribal-based with a traditional economy. Many of them believed in animistic and pagan religions. Keywords: primarily and many.
I don't see how this is important.
No generalizing statements are being made in this section. Mr. Musa, did at least some people in Africa worship animistic deities?
Well, yes.
And live in mud huts?
Well, in East Africa and pastoral areas, some...
So, is this statement accurate?
Yes. I guess it is.
I rest my case.
Hold up. That doesn't change the fact that the textbook is still lying to us and making big generalizations of African...
Can somebody mute her mic?
Boy, I'll mute your...
Order! Order in the court. Miss Richards, if you would please show some class.
But...
Your Honor, may I please request a brief recess with my client?
Sustained.
No generalizing statements. Boy, please. Mansa Musa was literally proof of those statements.
Miss Richards, I'm going to tell you this one time. Let me do my job.
Girl, I'm letting you do your job.
I know how the legal system works, okay? In cases like these, you have to keep your head low. You think crying and screaming is going to get you somewhere in life? Well, it's not. So just talk when you're asked to talk and let me do my job.
First of all, who crying?
Don't get paid enough for this. Do you understand?
What's your issue?
Do you understand?
Yeah, sure. Whatever.
Good. Let's continue.
Prosecutor Fisher, you may now introduce further evidence.
Ashanti Richards, please read page 315, section 2 of Milton and Milton's United States History, Texas edition, published 2017.
Section 2, the Emancipation Proclamation. The Emancipation Proclamation was issued by Union President Abraham Lincoln on January 1st, 1863. The proclamation, declaring that all persons held as slaves are and henceforward shall be free, was an important landmark in history as it effectively freed all the slaves. But that's not true. Look, Your Honor, you know that statement is false.
Objection! Opinion.
Sustained.
I'm gonna object you in the... Sorry, Your Honor. Now, continuing with the piece. After the Emancipation Proclamation, the South was weakened because its former slaves were free to roam and take on new occupations.
That's enough, Ashanti. Thank you. Your Honor, I call my second witness, Abraham Miller, born 1868, deceased 1907, occupation sharecropper, from Anniston, Alabama.
Welcome to court, Abraham Miller.
Thank you for bringing me here, miss. I must confess, you folk look mighty strange.
Order, please. Abraham, you will now be sworn in as a witness. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I solemnly affirm that the evidence that I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I solemnly affirm that the evidence that I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Excellent. So, Abraham, your parents were formerly enslaved, correct?
That is correct.
When were they freed?
They used to tell me it was 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, when the Union troops came to free them.
Now, Abraham, what did you do for a living?
I was a farmer.
Your entire life?
My whole life. I always wanted to be a preacher, but my parents couldn't afford to pay for proper schooling.
And why is that? They could have pursued any career they wanted, could they not?
I suppose so, but...
But what?
Well, after the war, they were supposed to get some land from Mr. Sherman. Except, it took too long. And after a while, the Union troops that freed my parents left Alabama the year I was born. After that, There were new laws, black codes they called them, that prevented my parents from getting the jobs and land they should have had.
Did your parents work for someone else?
Sure enough, all their life, and ours did the same.
Were they forced to do so?
Well, sure. The law said if they wasn't working, they'd be forced to work in chain gangs.
And those were?
People unlucky enough to work on those had to go to prison, and they were forced to work on people's lands for free.
Kind of like slavery.
Objection! Leading the witness.
Sustained.
So, your family, if they were able to live on land, albeit someone else's, and work for their own crops, why could they never afford to send you to school?
Well, their boss took most of the crops. We never had more than enough to feed ourselves.
Did you feel at any point as though you were free to pursue another job than your one the parents had?
Never. There just weren't no other options.
So you were forced to work for your employer?
Yes.
The prosecution rests, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, the defense wishes to cross-examine the witness.
You may.
Abraham.
Yes, sir?
Do you know when the Emancipation Proclamation was?
I believe it was stated earlier, when Ashanti was reading the textbook, sir.
But did you know?
It was during the war.
Can you give me an exact date?
No, sir.
So, there is a possibility that you could be wrong when saying that the Emancipation Proclamation did not free the slaves.
Objection!
Overruled.
Now, Abraham, how many siblings did you have?
Objection! Relevance?
Defense, what is the reason for such a question?
If you allow him to answer the question, you'll see, Your Honor. Go on, Abraham.
I had 5, sir.
And you were unable to go to school because of financial instability?
That is correct.
Would this have been averted had your parents had less mouths to feed?
I don't know.
Finally, your parents were legally free after, as you say, the Union troops came in. Is this true?
I believe it is.
You believe or you know?
I guess I know.
If your parents were so stuck within their job in Alabama, why did they not move north?
I don't know, sir.
Were you, theoretically, allowed to move north?
I guess I was.
But you didn't.
I did not.
Interesting. You hear this, Your Honor?
Objection!
Sustained.
The defense rests, Your Honor.
Abraham, you may be dismissed now.
Thank you.
Well, that wasn't fun.
Objection! Relevance?
I don't think this is necessary right now, Alexander. I am going to call a brief recess.
Granny.
Child, slow down and breathe. Slow down and use your words.
I'm losing, Granny. I lost. Alexander tore our last witness apart.
What? What happened?
Well, our questioning with Abraham was going well, but Alexander took it apart. Thing is, though, he was wrong. It was so much more complicated than what he said, but I couldn't say nothing. That weirdo would just call objection and win. And now we're taking a recess.
Oh my, they out here hurting my baby.
I mean, I knew I would have to fight for what I believe in, but Granny, this is more than a fight. I don't know how much more fight I have in me.
Ashanti, baby, don't use that kind of talk around here.
But
you're not gonna lose this case. I put that on my grave.
even if I did have fight left in me, I don't have no more character witnesses.
Well, you've got one more character witness right here.
Huh? You mean you?
Yes, me. You know about what I did, and I'm not like them old heads you called before.
You would really do that for me?
Of course, baby. And you know I would do anything for you. But I need you to tighten up. Remember what I said about how we talk out there.
Thank you so much, Granny.
Okay, baby. Let me know as soon as possible, because I'm supposed to have a spades game with Aretha Franklin in an hour.
Mel, I got it. I have a way to save us.
What'd I tell you about calling me that?
Sorry. Anyways, that's besides the point. I was just talking to my granny, and she said she'd take the stand as the last witness.
Ashanti, we can't do that.
Why not?
She wasn't on the witness list we submitted to the courts. We have to play by the books.
You say that as if that snake is playing fair.
Hmm.
Come on, Mel. We're so close. You know it, I know it, and everyone out there can see it. There's a lot at stake here. My education, your career.
Miss Richards, just listen. There is an order to these things.
And what's the point of order if we can't have justice? Melanie, what's your deal?
Fine. You want to know my deal? I was supposed to be bigger than this. Did you know I was in the top of my class? And now here I am doing cases for teenagers. No offense.
I'll let it slide. This time.
It's just, you keep with the inappropriate comments. Our witnesses are getting destroyed, and Alexander Verchovsky is beating me in a case. Alexander Verchovsky. This isn't how it was supposed to go.
Hey, wait. Calm down. Look, I get it. This ain't the big shot lawyer life you wanted. But the work we're doing here is important. No, more important than whatever stuff you were going to be doing up in Hollywood or whatever. I don't know if this means anything to you, but you're helping me make a real change. We're fighting for the people, for the justice, and most importantly, the truth. I know my granny is good. She was a civil rights pioneer back in her day. She marched with MLK. It don't get no better than that.
Are you positive about this, Ashanti?
As positive as I can be, Mel.
You know, Melanie, I must commend you and the girl for a well-put-on performance. I mean, I didn't think you could pull it off.
Alexander, don't start.
Whatever do you mean? I'm not trying to start anything. I'm simply applauding the show. I remember when I used to accept pity cases like this.
Verchovsky, I suggest you watch your mouth.
Oh, he makes me itch.
Regardless, I was here to commend you. I am highly impressed with your dedication to this case.
Why, thank you.
Even though it's all for naught.
Welcome back. I believe we left off with the testimony from the prosecution's last witness. Prosecution, do you have any more evidence you would like to address?
Your Honor, I would like to call in a surprise witness.
Who exactly are you bringing in?
We call Ruby Richards, Ashanti's late grandmother, to the stand.
Objection. Your Honor, this is absurd. You couldn't possibly be considering.
Please, Your Honor. I promise it'll be worth it. Just give us this one chance. Please.
Well, this whole trial has been quite unprecedented. Therefore, objection overruled.
Pleasure to be here.
Counselor Vetrovsky, you will be allowed a 10-minute recess to prepare to cross-examine if you would like.
No, I don't think that will be necessary, Your Honor.
Then we shall proceed. Mrs. Richards, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Counselor Fisher, since this is your witness, I'll allow you to start.
Thank you, Your Honor. Miss Richards, Ashanti tells me that you were an acclaimed writer and journalist during the Civil Rights Movement. Is that correct?
Oh, yes, I do have a pretty impressive resume, if I do say so myself.
Thank you. Miss Richards, as a writer and a journalist, your job was to be on the scene, write everything, record everything, and making sure you brought the truth to the people. Is that right?
That's right.
Which means that you saw a lot and heard a lot.
Yes, I suppose so.
Okay. Let's take a look at the textbook then, shall we? On page 208, Milton and Milton's U.S. history textbook reads, "During the period of segregation in many establishments, African Americans were given the choice of what section they were allowed into, but naturally chose the colored sections." Do you consider that statement to be true?
Oh my, oh no.
So tell us what really happened.
We were never given a choice. We always got the butt end of the stick. The warm water fountains, the dirty parts of the restaurants, the back of the bus. On and on. Don't tell anybody, but I remember sneaking over to the white water fountains to get that cool, cool water on hot days.
I'm sorry. Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't separate but equal?
Objection. This is my cross-examination.
Hold on, baby. It was most certainly not. They might have said that. It was, but baby, look. Those water fountains weren't equal. Those school buildings weren't equal. Anytime one of us got a job, we weren't looked at as another employee. We was just the help. Just aiding the white man. I walked 3 miles to my high school every single day because the buses wouldn't even run through my neighborhood. All of that for us not to be able to have paper for some days. And had to use them old, outdated, worn-out textbooks. I hate the fact that my grandbaby's still fighting the same old fight.
Now, let's talk about after segregation. The textbook states on multiple occasions that once the desegregation process was finished, racism diminished, and there were less instances of discrimination against Black people. In addition, the textbook claims that bringing Black people to America did more good than harm to the African American community. Is this narrative that the textbook paints true?
Oh, no, not at all. You think segregation and discrimination was more good than harm? Really? My great-grandmother and grandfather were slaves, and I know they didn't willingly come over here. They were enslaved, brought here not by their will, tortured, harassed, and killed by the white man. I have been disconnected from my heritage, and you call that more good than harm? They're just trying to paint a white savior narrative, and it's just simply false. Did they have one Black person work on that book?
As a matter of fact, the vast majority of Milton and Milton's employees are white.
Sounds like discrimination to me. Just another example of how it continues today.
Objection. Please focus on the case at hand. Miss Richards, please refrain from anger and stay on subject.
Young man, don't you dare start with that mess. That Black woman is always an angry narrative. Don't mess with me.
I know that's right.
Overruled.
I think we're done here.
Counselor Vitrovsky, would you like a chance to cross-examine?
No, I think we're done.
Thank you for joining us, Miss Richards. I will hear closing statements from each side, starting with the prosecution.
Objection, Your Honor, on the grounds that the prosecution has mishandled their witnesses.
What's he talking about?
I don't know. Hold on. Your Honor, our witnesses were chosen and handled with every consideration of the law.
Allow me to explain, Your Honor. According to my knowledge, Mansa Musa died in the mid-1300s. Am I correct?
Yes, but...
And your second witness, Mr. Miller, died in the late 1800s. Am I correct?
Your Honor.
According to Use of Ghosts in the Court of Law, Section 3, Paragraph 4, ghosts that have been deceased for over 100 years cannot be used as substantial witnesses as they do not possess enough knowledge of our modern-day world to provide substantial evidence to come to a conclusion.
Nothing in Section 3 says that.
Maybe not in your version of the book, which was published in 1984, but I am using the updated version, published last year.
But my granny only died 2 years ago. That's gotta count for something, right?
Your Honor, one witness cannot provide enough evidence to sue an entire company. In light of this new knowledge, I propose a mistrial.
In light of this new knowledge, I propose another recess.
So that's it, isn't it?
No, We're gonna keep fighting. Don't worry.
It don't even matter. Any character witnesses we call will result in a mistrial. It's over for me regardless.
Don't lose hope just yet. We can try and find something and call a second trial.
Where did this smell come from? You're never this optimistic.
I'm not going to watch a young, educated girl lose her spark because of me. Your passion is undeniable, and if we lose this battle, the war's not over.
After a brief recess, I have decided to rule in favor of a mistrial. Case dismissed.
Hey, don't beat yourself up, okay?
Why not? I lost.
Ashanti, you did amazing, okay? You stayed true to yourself from the beginning to the end. When I was your age, I would have peed my pants if I had to do something like this.
Really?
You're going to go far, Ashanti.
You really think so?
I know so.
I just hope my principal will let me come back to class.
If she doesn't give me a call, we'll handle it the way we know best.
As long as you brush that hair and iron your pantsuit next time, we're all good.
Ha ha.
Oh, girl, you know I'm just playing.
Well, I should get going now. Until next time, Miss Richards.
See you, Mel. And I wasn't playing about that hair. I know someone who will fix that mess.
Miss
Well,
Richards.
You won. I lost the case. I understand if you don't want me to come back. I'll just ask my homegirl for an extra copy of her notes.
Ashanti, this isn't a win for me either. I know we have our differences, but what you did today was absolutely incredible. You are a gifted, passionate young woman, and I know you'll go far.
You were here this whole time?
Yes, and I'm impressed. Maybe we should get you on the debate team.
Wait, so does this mean I can come back?
Of course you can.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. I don't believe it. Let me go call my granny.